and feel free. Rosh, Naz, Nuwan, if you guys want to jump in at any point, feel free. So what are we doing? Like what should we be doing? If you're new in crypto, if you're not enjoying what you're doing in crypto, there's heaps of things that you can do, right? There's NFTs, there's meme coins, there's just accumulating Bitcoin, there's Ethereum. Yes, it's slow, but if you like it, stay on it, right? So why is there this mindset around that? If you are the person smiling most in the room, you're going to shoot far beyond anybody else. I heard this in a rock climbing video. They said, number 7, the 7th most important step is the person with the biggest smile on the wall, climbing the rock climbing wall or the bouldering wall. They're the ones that are going to go furthest and quickest because they're having so much fun. They're up at the top already. They've unlocked a new move or something. They've found a way because they're just having fun. If you're stressed and you're thinking, I really need to do this, then you're not having fun anymore. Like you're grinding your teeth, you're not breathing. And then if you take a trade in that same feeling, it doesn't usually end well in my experience. Yeah. So we've got a couple of people here that are currently teaching with us. So we've got Naz, and she's always on the news, finding out what's going on and educating us. We've got Nuwan as well, and he's our Bitcoin evangelist. So if you have anything to do with Bitcoin, Nuwan comes in. Even though initially we were educating Nuwan, now he's educating us. He'll come in and he'll ask a question. No, we didn't hear about that, and then he'll just tell us all this stuff that he learned in the last week. So, and that's what he enjoys doing. You don't need to ask him to do it. You don't need to tell him, hey, if you don't do this, there's an ultimatum. He'll just do it and come back and go, hey guys, guess what I learned this week. Rosh is our airdrop guy, and I don't need to tell him, hey, can you please do some research on airdrops? He's posting 3-4 a day in our Discord. Like that's the mindset. You don't have to be like, I've got to get up. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, or whatever time is your time. I need to go and do this. Nah, he's done it already. First thing he does, arrange the bed. Second thing he does, hopefully after he has said hi to the wife and kids, is he goes and does the research, and then he's on our Discord posting on there. My other student Simon, who's not on the call today, he could see a trade coming. I barely had to help this guy. I just told him, hey, get everything in order. Go and walk your dog first. He suggested meditation. So I'm like, yep, go and do your meditation. And he can see a pattern. He's got a folder. And he prefers not to trade crypto. He likes doing stocks. Not stocks, sorry. Foreign exchange, Forex. And he can see a pattern. And he goes, I think I've seen this before. Opens up a folder, goes back. It's from 2010 or something. So he goes back, looks at the news, pairs it up, tells me, hey, GodSource, have you seen this trade on Euro GBP? Euro JPY, or whatever the pair is. And he'll say, check this out. I believe it's going to go like this. And then I check it 2 days later, and guess what? It did exactly what he said. So I didn't really teach him how to trade. Yes, there's Fibonacci and other things that I do like to teach, but it was just more the mindset that we had to share, and bang, you're on your way. You already kind of know what you want to do. You've already good at something, and you'll see it straight away. We showed a picture of a metaverse, and there was these cartoon blocky characters jumping around, and someone straight away said, oh, my grandson would love that. And that's when you're like, right, okay, put that person on this thing, see if they're going to earn some money out of that. And if they don't, fine. But at least you saw it. If you see it straight away, that's probably what you should be doing. It's that intuition that kicks in. So yes, make sure you're doing something you enjoy. If you're not enjoying it, don't do it. That's all I wanted to talk about for mindset. Let's get into the crypto side of things. Anybody got any questions with where crypto?
I got a question. I've
Good.
recently had a bit of a problem actually regarding my trading view. So it's the trading view, the charting tool.
Mhm.
So I purchased my yearly subscription with them this year. I was all good for it, and then I didn't realize this was a thing. I jumped onto YouTube. They were like, "Oh, you can go and like edit their Pine script, sorry, and put this thing in there to get new indicators." So you just new indicators. So I was like, "Oh, okay." I just copy and paste that, did it, and then that was it. I just could not. It just doesn't work anymore. I had emailed TradingView, and they were like, "Look, listen, you can't do nothing about that. Your thing's useless now. We can't give you a new Pine script to operate it." And I haven't been able to do any charting on anything, any trading. I do trades, but it's really, I mean, I can't do any pre-work. It's really me looking at a chart, analyzing it the best I can, visualizing, and just putting a trade on and going, "Okay, that's what it is." I can't even, even before that, I've had issues. What can you do to get around that? Because I've tried to contact them. They've said, "Nope, we can't help you with that. You've just basically got to throw away your subscription for a year." I tried to talk to them, and they were like, "No, look, that's it." And I was like, "Look, is there a Pine, a Java, like a Pine script that someone can copy and paste to me that I can at least just copy it back in there so I can get it back to normal, or what's?" Yeah, have you ever encountered that problem? Because I'm stuck with that. otherwise, I'm paying them for nothing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was going to suggest, so Karina actually does this. He's good with this sort of code. So
okay.
Karina's currently in the UAE. So she's
nice.
catching up with some business contacts over there. So send her a message, or you can contact her through our Discord as well. But I'm friends with Karina anyway.
Yeah. Well, she's friends with me, but yeah.
Sorry, I don't know.
Kidding.
But one of
I'm
those,
kidding.
Somebody's friends with somebody. Yeah.
So. Yeah, awesome. I didn't know that because I've been stuck for the last 2-3 months. I paid for my trading view. I paid for my Vema trade. I paid for everything up front. January the 1st this year. I want to dedicate a whole year to trading. I want to do all these, do everything right, and then literally a month in, this thing happens with TradingView, and that's it. I've just been stuck ever since. So look, it's good to know because I didn't know. I've been. Thank you. What are you waiting on? Sorry. I'm waiting for food. Yeah, sorry. The Zinger burger box thing.
How many did you order? 2 or 1?
One. Yeah, and that's got the chicken in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Sorry to get
us as well, please.
Yeah, that was awkward. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's personal trainer eating crap. Don't tell nobody. But yeah, so basically that's been my reposition since the beginning of the year. So I'll just speak to Karina about it and hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't know, buy her some food or buy some wine or something, help me set this out. We'll sort this out.
Yeah, that's fine. Like she's doing she's doing well with the mentoring side of things, so she'll be able to help. So guys, Karina is somebody else
awesome.
that will be helping a lot with TLS as well moving forward. And so if anybody else has any questions with code or bots, anything like that, we'll be able to utilize Karina. She's not on the call today, as I said. She's in the UAE. Amazing things. So Aaron, you had a question. You unmuted, or you were interested in the food?
Oh no, I was interested in Zinger box.
Yeah. No.
Thanks, guys. Sorry about that. That's a pretty good meal. Go for it.
We'll remove this out of the recording so none of your PT clients will know that you had a Zinger box.
What Zinger box? We don't even talking about.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mr. Rush.
Love it. There's been a question about base.
Yes.
So yeah, thanks for your question. So just feel free to cut in and ask any questions you have. But just to go over, I'll just give you a quick to a high level. But if you want to go into any specifics, let me know. So yeah, base. Can you see my screen at the moment?
Yeah, perfect.
So you can see TLS?
Yeah, welcome to the Crypto Starter Toolkit. Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is a good starting point, like the TLS toolkit. It's real beginner stuff. So we got the beginner 101 guide, book a session with GotSource, CoinGecko that we always talk about. Those are, that's really good. So where you can find out about tokens is DeFiLlama. So DeFiLlama is a great tool to just get in there and um, and learn about the different networks. So all I did was just click on the link, and then you'll see you know, to uh, to go to base, you can do a search, or you can just click on Ethereum and then select the chain, and then you can go to base that way as well. So they have 3.11 billion locked, which says to me that they are not a new chain. They've been around for a while. People are playing within that ecosystem, and I'm especially bullish on Base because it's run by Coinbase. So I keep saying this: if something happens to Ethereum mainnet, I think Base will probably survive, probably. Not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed in crypto. But I would say Base is one of the chains that will probably survive because Coinbase will not let that project fail. And that's why you see this much of value, like, a total value locked in DeFi. So if you want to look at the DeFi protocols, like the protocols, start with the top one. Aerodrome is one where you can go in there and you can swap. You can do staking, so that means you are earning some APY. So unlike banks that pay you 5%, you might be able to get 20%, 15%, but you have to be careful in the ones you choose. So you want to look at these top 5 because you know that like there's a lot of total value locked, right? And maybe some of these ones at the bottom, smaller ones, you don't want to put too much in there. You want to put your coffee money in. They may or may not have a token, like I know Superform doesn't have a token at the moment. So you might like to play around and put $20 in there that you save on your coffee every week, right?
Right.
And you might be able to get an airdrop. So stuff like that. You can play around with these protocols, see what they do. So you can click through and you can see where things are up to, like what's happened with the token, or how much value is locked, learn about their project, what they're doing. And then you can also, I think, click through and see what's happening. So this is a great learning tool. Base has a lot of meme coins as well. I think it's second to Solana. So that's why it became famous, because when Solana came up, then it was Base. So the bees flocked from Solana to Base, and then they went elsewhere as well. So it's going to have a cycle at some stage, and you'll see people coming back. So now's a good time to learn about Base. Yeah, that's all I have. Do you have any questions around it?
Yeah, with the base percentage returns and with the certain meme coins and I suppose functionalities of it, how do you I mean, like you said, there's no guarantee, and if there's more of a life cycle, then like 3 years or 2 years of a life cycle, they've been around for a while, probably not a scam. How do you know which ones to pop? Like, because I've been in situations where I pop like 100K into like Macquarie Bank for like 6 months, right? Pulled it out, and at 5.5, they turned around and said, "Here's $2,500, David. Thanks for your 100K of interest loan money for 6 months." And then I find out about crypto, and I'm like, dude, I could have earned way more. But I mean, the risk factor of putting something like that could have been a scam, and like I never know what is safe to put something in. And that's kind of my situation at the moment, where I'm just looking for an investment vehicle that's got a high potential return, because it's like I hear it in DeFi all the time, the DeFi space. Someone's like, "Well, you put that in, that's like 20% return," and I'm sitting there going, "Dude, that's 100K. It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money." Versus yeah. So, what would you recommend for someone looking for something like that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So as you saw, I've gone into like this protocol,
Yeah.
Aerodrome, right? Then you see
Yeah.
this percentage, 1,100,
Yeah.
1,400%. And you think, what? Like, surely they can't
Yeah.
sustain that, right? So
Well,
you
not
have
even
to
that. I'm like, I look at that and go, is that like a, hey man, look, there's Sydney Sweeney over there. That's ready to be your girlfriend. Like, dude, that's a scam. That's just some guy trying to scam you out of your money. That's not Sydney Sweeney for real. Like, yeah, hypothetically, not that I've fallen for that. Just saying.
I have fallen for that in the past, and
God damn it.
I have
Makes two of-
fallen for I have fallen
That
for it.
makes two of us. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
I've fallen for
Yeah.
it because in the previous bull run, they were paying more
Yeah.
than this. They had 14,000%, all of
Mm.
this, but they couldn't sustain that because as soon as the bears came, they couldn't sustain
Yeah.
that liquidity, and it
Yeah.
was deemed a scam, and it was a scam because it was,
Oh,
you know, and
Yeah.
if you didn't take any money out, your money's gone.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people put 100K
Right.
and they got out 150K. So
oh, no,
you have to be careful
time. Yeah.
at what you select,
Yeah.
because a lot of these ones which promise to pay this much, that could be
Yeah.
because their time frame for that APR is very short, right?
Right.
So I mean, they are not their time frame. They how far it goes up and down, how far the token
Yeah.
moves up and down.
The
It's very
volatility
short. Yeah, the
range.
volatility.
Yeah.
So basically, it could be for the next 2 hours you get this percent, but after
Right.
the 2 hours, if the coin moves, say $2 up, you're not going to get this percent anymore. So
Yeah,
protocols
because I've
have
seen similar
learned.
things like that in Bybit. In
Yeah,
Bybit, when I did my day trading through that, they have a thing where they go, "Oh, lock it into this, and you get this."
yeah,
And then I'm like, "Well, I'll put in like in a pool, like a what do you call it, investment pool or whatever, like my leftover ETH or leftover XRP, whatever." And then I'll, in a few days it goes up, and I can see it's not going up a lot because they don't have much in there. But like potentially, I look at it and go, "Well, is there like a terms and conditions things that dictates the fluctuation terms, like, or no, it's just look, you just got to see what this is. These are the markers, and good luck to you."
yeah, that's right. So you
Yeah.
just gotta do your own research a lot before you
Yeah.
deposit.
You can
And
also
Yeah.
check if
Yeah.
other people that have done it. That's why we have the community. That's why we've got our Discord. So they can ask, not just in the Zoom calls. You don't have to wait for 8:30 on a Tuesday
Yeah.
to ask. We've got Rush in our Discord quite frequently. Other people are very
Yeah.
quiet in there, but they're active. So you can always ask there and say, guys, have you done this? Because in the previous bull run, I've got a mate who jumped in our Discord, but he's so active on every other Discord except ours because he's doing all. He used to do all the DGen stuff. He was invested for a month, and I probably should cut this out of the recording. Just remind me, Rush. But he put in about 80,000 US into a really high interest APY like this, way higher than what Rush was showing us, and every day he was earning over 2,300 and something US dollars. So he was just
what the heck?
Just kept withdrawing 2,000 something every day for a month. So he got all his money back, and then through whatever he had initially put in, which he had won from an airdrop anyway. So he didn't really care. It wasn't money that he'd worked hard to earn, and then he doubled his money, and then he just left it in there to see how long it would play out, and it just crashed. But he'd already doubled at some ridiculous percentage rate. But this is why it's important to diversify.
Be on the ball.
Be on the ball and diversify is what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
If you diversify and then one of the 5 things you have running crashes, you've only got enough money in there that you didn't really care about, and you've got 4 other things running that are a lot more stable than this I don't want to say dodgy, but higher risk one, right? Like Rush talks about, which is your the things that you would marry into, the things that you would date, and this is definitely something that's even less than dating. You're
Dude, I've got like no standards when it comes to that. You should like not use those terms too loosely with me. But yeah, not a bad guy. But yeah, I get
yeah. So you have to be very careful when you Nuan, you've got a question. Sorry, I'll carry on after your question.
No, I was just trying to respond to Dave with sort of the whole idea of where to throw your money into in the crypto market, because it's pretty broad and it depends on what you want returned back. Because obviously, when you look at DeFi and the APRs, you have to obviously know, like you said, Rosh, there's obviously 1,200% is obviously unsustainable over the long period. But then you have to also know what token they're paying you out in, because that could be like fart coin or something. So it's really important that you figure out that sort of side of thing. But like, I don't know if all Dave is after is what can I throw my money into to get a fairly reasonable rate of return, then Bitcoin would probably be the safest bet, because you're getting 40 to 60% over a 5-year period. And if you dollar cost average into Bitcoin, over the long term, you're going to get 40 to 60% back, regardless of the volatility, as long as you don't sort of
withdraw early.
Yeah, just don't withdraw early. Just keep it in for 5 years, and you're almost guaranteed a 40 to 60% return on investment. If you're looking at crypto specifically, that's the safest bet in crypto.
But I just hear it like other people that I know, and I've never had this kind of luck. It's like every time I've gotten onto an idea that everybody's gotten onto, the moment I get in, it just shifts. Like, you know what I mean? Like other people I know, I don't know. Like my timing's really bad, or like we're living in a simulation.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about when you hear about various projects and the APRs and then you get in too late? Is that what you're saying?
Well, not even just that. Even with crypto in general. Like I heard about crypto like 6 years ago, and I had the money to get into it then, and I was like, no, that's okay. I'm doing really well in the Australian poker circuit. I'm winning like blah, blah, blah. So I'll just win like 20K, 30K here and there. And that's like an investment return for me at the time, because I was really into poker and I had a different lifestyle back then. And then when I was like, you know what, I'm going to put like 10K, 20K into crypto. Then like Joe Biden gets in, the Ukraine war starts, Donald Trump stuffs up, and I'm like, no, this is fair. Yeah, I try something and it just goes to shit. It's, you know what I mean? But then other people are like, dude, I put like $2,000 by mistake into Pepe, and I made like 250K in like a month. You should get into it, bro. And I'm like, dude, like, what the hell? You're 19 and you made 250K off that. But dude, I'm 31, 41. I'm kind of like in a spot. Like,
are you 41 years old? You don't look 41.
He doesn't look. But
oh, dude, it's the Asian genetics. It's one of those weird things.
Of course it is. Yes, you'll only look old when you're 85 years old. Yeah.
No, dude, give it a few years, I'll pop. I'm sure my hairs. I'm getting grey hairs now. People are like, yeah, what? How old are you? Yuck, you're over 30. You're old.
So
man.
the trick,
sorry.
Dave, if you want something simple, just dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin is probably your safest bet over a 5 to 10 year period. If you're wanting to know about like DeFi, which is what you're talking about, is what we're talking about.
Yeah, because my other coach in Crypto Pause has got this thing where it's probably DeFi that I don't know much about DeFi, because I did like a fast tracking course with them, where he was like, oh, look, he puts money into Bitcoin, but then he's got money that does this other thing in DeFi that generates more money. And when that pays out, he throws that into crypto, in the Bitcoin, and it's just like a cycle. And I don't know how this works, because I'm like, dude, like the only cycle I know is I work, I pay the ATO tax, and I get a tax return. That's the only cycle that I know that I'm trying not to step up.
Everyone knows that cycle.
Correct. I think we're all on that cycle, man. But but what I was going to suggest, if you learn, like, it's really hard to know all the DeFi projects on every single crypto chain there's out there, and it's really like for myself with DeFi, if you get really familiar with 2 or 3 chains and understand the DeFi projects on those chains, then you'll know the ones that are coming out. You'll know the DeFi projects that are coming out on that particular chain. So usually I'm sure Rosh and Ant would agree with me. If you're new to the space, which it sounds like you might be,
super new,
okay, just definitely the top 10 or 20 cryptocurrency coins on CoinMarketCap would probably your semi-safest bet to look at. But looking at 1 or 2 or 3 chains and looking at the DeFi projects through DeFiLlama, specifically for those like Cardano, you probably can't go wrong with Cardano and XRP and Solana, something like that. There's definitely if you just but if you want something just if you want to keep things, if you want to use the KISS principle and keep it simple, just sticking money every month into Bitcoin and just letting it ride up, you get 40 to 60%. That's at the moment every 5 years. Okay. Sorry, I'll stop talking now.
And
and that's
can
I
I
was going to
chime
say,
in
like,
here for a
obviously
sec?
this. Sorry, Aaron.
No, that's all right. I was kind of holding my tongue because I was getting a bit of context for the conversation. But what Nuan just described is exactly what I've done since 2019.
Oh, nice.
So I kind of entered the market at a bad time when it was the end of the cycle, so the price was high. Locked myself in, and then the advice from my mentor was just keep going. So I entered the market at the end of the bull run, and then price dropped significantly. But I just kept buying up every paycheck. I had a specific amount, and I just kept buying, kept buying. So fast forward now, it's been 2019, about 5 years ish. I'm up 50% on my Bitcoin investments. And then ironically, because I didn't follow Nuan's advice, I did try and do a couple of other projects and learned the hard way. So I lost a bit of money there. But overall, my portfolio is pretty stable because I was kind of heavily skewed into Bitcoin.
Yes.
So it's a great way to, I guess, start out. And then
because I've got a weird point of view on it. Like I've got like the way, and this is like just me being super stupid or like yellow by special, as they say. Like I look at it and go, look, Bitcoin is 100K for one Bitcoin. Like I might as well go with other things that has a potential to like 10x and make $1 million doing that than doing one Bitcoin and going, well, it's safe, but I only make 250K in 5 years or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm looking at it wrong, I think.
Yeah, that's the mindset I was talking about at the beginning. So this is what we talked about in the article. It's like we're not here to gamble a majority of our money, but like Aaron has put the majority in Bitcoin. So even if there was a few slip ups, he was so heavily skewed.
He's safe.
Bitcoin, he's safe. Even if two of the other things go south, he's still safe.
And if they go up, he can dump that in Bitcoin to get more Bitcoin.
Exactly. So
and another strategy you can apply is that if you make profit, like a lot of profit, it's no longer your money, it's profit, right? So I mean, so that means that you made some money. Now you can go and play with this type of thing where you can go to Aerodome and then you can look at a 600% APR and put a little bit in there. Don't put all of it, put a little bit and see how it goes for short term, but keep an eye on it every day, every week, and make sure that that's still relevant. And when you make profit, then put it into a higher percentage. What have you got to lose? Nothing. It's your profit.
No, you already,
So it's another strategy in which you can just build up. Say you put into this project, but you're building up more Bitcoin that way, because when you make those profits, you put it back to your long-term portfolio, and you're growing your Bitcoin that way as well. So using multiple ways, not just buying Bitcoin, you keep doing that, but you're actually building up your Bitcoin in other ways as well. I use airdrops, for example, that same way, but I'm also looking at these APRs, especially like for me, Sui. This cycle, Sui, that's what I'm doing. Focused on Sui because they have consistent APRs, not really high ones like this one. Look at it; it's already gone down. It's very unstable. If you look at Sui, it's actually quite stable. It's been stable for a couple of months, and I'm not expecting it'll be like that for the next year. But I just want to take advantage of that APR when it's hot. The reason why I'm doing it is because long term I want to build Bitcoin, as much Bitcoin as possible, right? So that's just another strategy as well.
Hopefully I'm not jumping over a question to ask, but I was going to ask, just based on the conversation, is people's approach to have Bitcoin as a bank effectively? Like have your investments in your other DeFi areas and then make profit and then convert into Bitcoin? Is that what people are doing? See a couple of nods.
Don't know what this is for you.
Just out of curiosity.
Sorry, Aaron. I'm pretty heavily orange pilled. As
Me too.
Yeah, I'm severely orange pill, like, and
Like red eyes and the Bitcoin symbols.
yeah, I haven't quite got that ostentatious yet, but I think that it's a bit, the laser eyes are a bit weird, but I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, but I'm a Bitcoin majorist. Okay, so I've got about probably 70% of my portfolio into Bitcoin, and I definitely use it as a form of savings. Like, I look at it as a savings technology when I when I put my, because we all know the whole system is rigged against us with regards to inflation and currency debasement, and so
I
we
see
need
it. Yeah.
savings vehicle to store our purchasing power. So for me, I think I'm very much on this whole idea of trying to get to 1 Bitcoin at least, for me at a personal level. And so I'm just, but I'm also investing in other chains as well. Like, the guys will tell you, I'm also freaking nuts on XRP as well.
Oh,
And
nice.
if you're a Bitcoin maxi, they will say that XRP is a scam coin. I'm not a toxic maxi. I'm not a toxic maxi, but I kind of feel that Bitcoin is the best thing to happen to us as human beings financially in the last 150 years. And I think it's just the fact that it's the soundest and hardest money on the planet, and that we have an opportunity now in this day and age to be able to invest something which will provide us with some form of economic hope and sovereign wealth, is such an amazing thing. And that you and I, that the guy who cleans the toilets can get Bitcoin at the same price as Elon Musk, the richest man in the world. And that is completely unheard of in markets, But I'm also interested in the stuff that TradFi is bringing to Bitcoin. So, what MicroStrategy is doing, and then all the stuff like Jack Mullers with his 21 Capital, and the fixed income products that are coming to Bitcoin. So for shares, I'm actually invested in Bitcoin companies in the share market. So MSTY, and I haven't got MSTR. I might buy some MSTR, but anything that's related to Bitcoin, I actually don't want to buy shares, because I think in terms of Bitcoin, I'm pretty much transitioning to a Bitcoin standard in the way I look at things. So I don't know if that resonates with you, but that's kind of how I see it. I don't know how the others see it, but I think accumulating, my mentality is, if I have more Bitcoin this month than last month, I'm doing good.
Yep.
I'm winning. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And if I can get to 1 Bitcoin, then I'm set. I'm set for life.
Yeah.
So, and my children are set for life if I have many. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's life changing, and it all depends on how you look at it, and if you're in it for the long term. So one of my mentors in the past, who was my favorite, still my favorite, is like diamond hands. The longer you hold on to it, you could play around. You could be like, okay, let me sell a little bit, then we buy back into it. Let me sell a little bit, let me buy back into it, and that can work. But if you sell at the wrong time, make sure you didn't sell too much and that you're still heavy-handed in it, because once it's going to go up, it's going to go up a fair amount before it comes back down again. So if you're just accumulating, you can't lose, because you'll never sell. But that's not everyone's strategy, and that's also fine, because you can hear Nuwan's passion with what he's doing. So
he's got good reason.
Yeah.
When I learned about fiat currency debasement, that was a good week. That was a great week.
And the thing with the Bitcoin space at the moment, and I'm sure Rosh would agree upon me, this the ecosystem is expanding. Like, not only we're talking about blockchain ecosystem, but also the TradFi stuff that's coming. That really interests me a lot, because I think the pure Bitcoiner would say we don't want TradFi in the space. We just want to work on Bitcoin, sovereign wealth, sovereign money, a hard asset. But I don't go with that opinion. Whether we like it or not, TradFi Wall Street will come for it. And recent figures have shown that the 9 ETFs in America have within 1 year and 3 months has accumulated 1 million Bitcoin. And so what's 1 million? That's almost like under 5% of the supply, yeah? And so Michael Saylor holds 550,000 Bitcoin. You've already got, and he's going for more because he's going through this whole, I'm going to use debt and leverage to buy more Bitcoin, and that's all I'm doing. And then you've got Jack Mullis coming in, with the 21 Capital, backed by Tether and Cantor Fitzgerald and SoftBank, and they've already got 42,000 Bitcoin in their treasury, and they're going to keep buying more. So the point I'm trying to make is that you've already got Wall Street in the space. They're not going away, and they're not going to be selling. They're just going to be buying. And every Bitcoin that they buy, that's 1 Bitcoin less for people like you and me, unless you're a billionaire. I'm not too sure if you're a billionaire, but if you are, if you are, let me invest in your company so I can get more Bitcoin. But the whole idea is there is Wall Street's here. They're not going anywhere. So I've actually been onboarding people at work for free at the moment into the Bitcoin space, teaching them how to buy Bitcoin, explaining the Bitcoin, and telling them, if you don't have this if you don't get off zero, at least buy something.
Yeah.
You are going to kick yourself, 10 years from now. And I kind of I like I said, I feel like I'm getting a bit religious about it and evangelizing to people about it, but it's so important. This asset is the most important asset in the last 150 years for human beings and for the wealth, democratization of wealth. And it's really, otherwise, like the recent stats have shown that US wealth distribution, people who are millionaires earn more than US $1 million per year. And then the middle class, their categorization of the middle class is people who earn US 100K to 1 million K. And then the poor is people who earn 100K US or less. So I don't know about you, 100K US is about 150,000 Aussie. I don't earn 150,000 Aussie. I don't know what sort of job you do, but I'm a poor bugger according to the US recent recategorization of wealth. So, and the top 1% own 45 to 50% of the assets on the planet. And they're going to keep on buying. They're just going to buy more Bitcoin, and they're just going to keep it, And it's just, and only less than 7% of the world is into crypto. So do you get what I'm trying to say, Aaron? I don't mean to sound like I'm a broken record here, but it's so essential that people get into some kind of Bitcoin. Just buy $50 a week, whatever, just to get into it, because otherwise we're not. You'll be left behind. Just the way it's going, it's just terrible. It's just terrible. Yeah.
I got a funny example of that actually. When we had a bit of a dip in the market, kind of earlier in the year. I was talking to my brother about effectively the same thing. And I think he took $4,000 and went on a holiday. And I was like, oh, you should have put that in. But, it's your money. You do whatever you want. So went on the holiday, and then the market had that big run up. And I called him after. I'm like, so how you feeling? You could have had that holiday for free and your original investment. And we had a good laugh. It's like, I should have listened to you. I'm like, well, got to learn somewhere, right?
And you learn if you don't make the same mistake again.
Well, yes, he's set up an account now. Yeah.
He set up an account now?
Yeah.
Amazing. Good. So he learned. That's a good lesson. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. That's also important. That's another good mindset thing. If like Dave was talking about earlier, like if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and you feel like you keep getting in too late, generally when you hear about something, it's too late. So if people are talking about how amazing Bitcoin is, you should already be selling. Not selling, you should be selling whatever you're prepared to sell at that point. And continue to accumulate Bitcoin when the price comes back down again. So generally when the news is talking about something as amazing, you're too late. You should already be in it. If you look at the Discord, Rosh posts something and he said, hey, we're in early. This is going to be around in July. We're not even in June. That's something you should get into because nothing's going to happen till July. So get into the stuff early. And yeah, we can talk about it in these sessions. We can talk about it in Discord. We open up a thread for each thing that gets posted. So you can talk inside of each topic. Yep, this one looks like it's going to be good. Nope, I've stopped doing this one because I think this is not going to have great rewards. It's too late. You've only got a couple of days or a week to farm this one or to get in on this one. So Rosh has been talking about Sui for way too long. Way too long.
Yeah, I mean that's the other side of the coin as well. So you've got Bitcoin, which is great, like it's a savings account, but cryptos, I'm excited about the technology because I'm a technologist naturally. Like I love technology and I love where decentralization is moving towards giving more ownership back to us in a social sense, DeFi sense, gaming sense. There's a lot coming. Our RWA sense, which is the real world assets. That's something else that's been built on Base as well. So have a look at Base ecosystem as a whole, not just DeFi because there's gaming projects. There's real world asset projects. One of them is called Lingo. That's something that I posted last year. They had a really good airdrop come up, and they're building in the background. A lot of these companies, these people, they're building in Dubai because Dubai is crypto friendly. Singapore is crypto friendly. And no, Base don't have a token yet. But the Base ecosystem has tokens inside it, but Base hasn't officially come out with the token. So they're teasing us. They might come out with the with the token and airdrop people who got in early, but my expectations are low because if they do that, they might get in trouble because Coinbase, they're a centralized entity. Still, so if they deploy, they might get in trouble with the government or something over there. They're very, they're very hard on companies. Maybe with Trump they're not, but they have been in the past, so maybe they're cautious. But yeah, have a look at Base. Lots of stuff building in there. Yeah, if you're into tech like I am, there's so much happening in the space. So recommend checking it out. Checking in our Discord, talking to us, asking us questions, checking into this session every week, and yeah, having some fun. So we're about.
We've got a couple of quick questions before we go. We're just on time. Yes, something to brush up more on. Yeah, for sure. Jump in the next time, Aaron, that we do a session on Sui. Check out our Discord. I reckon Rosh and Nuwan should do a little thing on Sui. And Ha asked if there is, so it's free to join our Discord, and any insights if we are still in a bull cycle for the rest of 2025.
Any insights?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've all got our opinion on that, like whether we're on a bull cycle or not. And going by the 4 years cycle, it seems like we are, but you can never tell. So it's hard to say yes or no. But all the indicators leading to it seems like we're in a pretty good place. I would be worried if in the last 2 weeks we went up and we came back down straight up again. But right now we're going on a sideward, on the side. So that seems to me like, I don't know, Ant, like we could be going up the chart. Who knows?
Yeah.
But if we do come down, we'll come down to a certain level and then we might go up from there.
Yeah.
Right?
I wouldn't wait specifically for November, just
Yeah.
based on history, because when Rosh and I were doing the crypto course a few years ago, even our educators said, yeah, look, we did a double peak and we
Yeah.
back down, but everyone's still waiting.
Yeah.
So just be prepared. Don't wait for a specific month. Pick a number, and whatever it is you're planning on selling, sell it. And don't wait for this amazing peak, because you're not going to hit that. You're not. I'm not
Exactly on the
saying
spot, right?
not
Yeah.
going to do it, but it's very, I guess, tunnel visioned to think that that's exactly where it's going to be, because somebody can manipulate the market, not us. We don't hold enough. We're not a whale to be able to manipulate the market that much. Somebody with a lot of Bitcoin can do a over the counter trade and not affect price, and then suddenly buy or sell to affect the price the way that they want. And then we're just left standing there like a stunned mullet. So I'm worried that you're saying November, but it's good that you are still waiting. Patience is great, but don't wait like Rosh and I have done this in the past.
Yeah,
We've
we
waited
have.
too long, right, Rosh?
Mhm.
We've
Yep.
waited too long, and the prices come up, and we're like, wow, this is amazing. We're going through the moon into the sun, and we're going to loop around the next planet and come back down. Too late.
It's like we stopped at the station, but we fell asleep and we forgot to get off, and then we're going on that cycle again.
So
So
we
we just got to keep our eyes peeled on the station coming up. But
Yeah.
make sure you have your bags packed.
Yeah.
Before you get on that train. Is
Yeah.
what we keep saying.
have a plan.
Yeah.
Like the guy on YouTube that we like to follow, because he doesn't shill anything, very unbiased, just a non-opinionated information, Coin Bureau, and he only holds 5 tokens at any one time. Very simple. And pretty much everyone in their company holds Bitcoin. And he says, look, this is an unbiased overview, but just letting you know, almost everybody here holds Bitcoin. So that'll make Nuwan happy for sure. But it's just an unbiased thing that they do, and I like Coin Bureau because of that. And we're not here to tell you, yes, Nuwan's way is the only way, or Rosh's airdrop way is the only way. We're not here to tell you that. It's just be prepared, pick a number, learn some basic Fibonacci or some charting, do your own analysis. If you say Bitcoin gets to like 130, you're probably gonna, I would say, if it goes higher than this, great. But I'm already prepared for things to go down from there. If it hit 160, expectations exceeded. If it hits 300, highly doubt it this cycle. But that's my opinion based on my charting. But if it gets there, I'm also not surprised, because we are eventually going there. I just don't know when.
Could I ask a follow-up on that question?
Yeah.
Sure.
I've heard people using different metrics to kind of time the market. So you've said November as a rough guide for, you've decided that I'll sell certain things by that period. Is that following a Bitcoin halving, or are you just looking at the performance of the market, or just that every 4 years it's always kind of roughly the same period? What's informing that thought process?
So November was just what Ha was saying. She said, based on previous. So I was
Previous cycles.
what she said.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2025, early 2025 was when I thought price would start going down. I thought by now it's just been a really long and slow, drawn out process this time. I've never seen this much sideways action and manipulation of the market. So it's slow. It's slower than I thought, but it's good in a way, because it allows us to dollar cost average in some more at a nice price. So yeah, I that's just the thing I saw in the chat, so I just went with that. But yes, don't go based on previous, because it's not always the case. But halvening is also only a rough guide, because you're waiting 6 months after the halvening. Price started going up, but because of other news, Trump and ETFs.
Yeah.
So all these weren't there in the past. So price took a big hike, right, Rosh?
Yeah, and the other part of it is narratives as well, because before, like you saw, all coins the DeFi stuff going up, and expectation was everything's going to go up. But this time's things go up in different cycles. You might see something happening in Sui because they have some big event coming up. It's going up. Then you might have something happening in Solana because the degens are back and they're buying meme coins like crazy again, right? So you might see happening something in base because they've got the real world asset stuff coming up big time. So institutions are building. So this time seems to be a bit different. And I'm not sure if it's going to follow the same path as we had last time because we didn't have this much of institutional buy-in, right? So even though we might have this run up till November, I'm not saying we will. After November, maybe, who knows? It could keep going. I'm not sure because we haven't seen that last time around. We haven't seen this much of interest in Bitcoin and more countries looking at how they can save their people with Bitcoin as well. You know?
El Salvador.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All right.
All right.
I've got to head off, but you guys.
Me too.
What's
Me
the
too.
ones?
I've got to jump off.
ISO. Oh, that's a good one. Nice one. HBAR, yes. Quant, very good. Yeah, those you should actually copy and paste that.
Oh, I love this list.
Yeah.
Nuan, go. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the list. Yeah, keep them coming. I mean, just it's good to look at different coins and
Yeah.
see what
Very nice.
see what they're up to. Check out their charts as well.
And remember, if you're spreading yourself too thin, it can be good, but it's a lot to look at. And if you're just beginning, just get like the first time I just bought one coin, and I'm like, I'm hedging everything on here, but I only put a tiny amount of money in, and I'm like, let me just see if I know what I'm doing. How do I buy? How do I bring it back out? And then the second time around, then I bought a couple of different things. So yeah, don't go and buy everything that Nuwan just wrote down. Pick a couple that you like, especially if you like it. If you like it, then there's something behind it. Don't even worry about if you're not sure about charts and things. Those are all pretty good coins. So yeah, you can safely get into some of those, but don't put your life savings on there. If you've got 120 grand because you sold a house, don't put it all in one of those. Most of what you're doing should be in Bitcoin, I believe. And you can look at the article that we've got in our blog, thelazysociety.com. There's a nice article in there about marriage coins, dating coins, like I said before, which ones you should put in, and Bitcoin is your safe bet.
And there's so much happening inside the Bitcoin ecosystem as well. So recommend checking that out. There's people building in Bitcoin as well, like no one touched on before as well. So there's so much to learn. There's really not enough time in a day to do all of it. And this is why we have TLS. We run this as a community. Jump into Discord and take me to church. Let's go. Yeah. So hang out in our Discord. Feel free to pop in questions. People are really shy there. Don't be shy. Just post questions in the lounge and we'll get to it and keep your eye out.
Just have fun. Come in, have fun. That's what all we can ask. Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Let's wrap this up. We'll see you next week. Same time, same Zoom call, same passcode. Hopefully that answered some of your questions, huh?
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Rosh,
Welcome.
and everyone else.
It's a group effort.
Thanks, Era.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Aaron.
you,
guys.
everybody.
Have a good one.
Take care,
Cheers.
everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.